Well, guys, the USMNT played for the first time since February, and it was a 0-0 draw. So, Pat, what are your first reactions to this game?
Honestly, Austin, I was pretty satisfied. I thought it was a pretty, I would be honest to say, average performance. The conditions there were a little, with all the rain, a little hectic. The ball was sliding all over the place, and then just some of the players getting used to each other, building that chemistry. So all in all, I thought it was pretty decent for some of the debutants as well. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought there were some good things to draw from in this game, and I guess I should have led with this is our Wales review. So if you don't know, we're young Americans abroad, and we always post about our Yanks, our young Americans playing overseas. So we're here to give our take for the Wales game today. And Pat, yeah, it was a good game. Not the result we wanted. I guess that's the biggest thing, but I thought we saw some bright play, and we got to see some of the youngsters too. So I think it was good.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was pretty solid, and also with that, Austin, we're changing up the format here, guys, and kind of giving you more of a live, pretty updated coverage. Sometimes it takes us a little bit to post and editing, so we're excited to give this pretty quick reaction here.
Yeah, and this is the first one we've done for a little while, just because we used to do them for some of the. I don't know if we ever did any of the old World Cup qualifiers before the disaster.
Way back. We don't want to relive those.
But we used to do some for some of the friendlies a few years ago, or a few months ago. It's been so long now, so we wanted to do it for this one. We're also planning on doing Panama, and hope we get maybe a better result for that one. But yeah, I think, Pat, maybe we should go into how the game started today and kind of look at the starting lineup. So first, we had Zach Steffen in goal with Serginho Dest on the right. Then we had Matt Miazga, John Brooks, and Anthony Robinson, which was interesting because we were, on our last episode saying if we're going to see Serginho on the left and Reggie Cannon on the right, or if we're going to see Anthony on the left like we did and Serginho. So we saw that. Then in midfield, we had Tyler Adams, Weston McKinney, who had a great day, Pat, and a last-minute sub to the starting lineup in Yunus Musa, the player we all wanted to see today. So that was really exciting. And then up top, we had Conrad De La Fuente on the left, Sebastian Lletget, very surprising inclusion as a striker, and then Gio Reyna. So, looking at the first half, I thought we started really bright, Pat, and there was a lot of good play in the midfield and good possession. On the day, Pat, I think we had 61% possession, and we really, I think, took it
pretty high
right from the beginning. So I thought that was good. We kind of hit our groove, I would say, maybe in like minute 15 to 30, maybe like 20 to 40. I thought was really the best play on the day, and you saw a lot of good combinations. Not many shots or chances to score. I think we only had one shot on the day, which came from Ulysses Yanez, right? Later on.
That's right.
That was the shot.
Subbed on pretty much.
Yeah. So, it was, I thought, a pretty good first half. Going into halftime, I thought, we had the edge over Wales. We kind of had them on their heels, which, it's good to get a European team. Obviously, Wales isn't, the biggest European team to play, and they're not like the Netherlands or even England, right?
Even England, right?
Portugal, but at the same time they have a lot of quality players. So I thought that was good. And then going into the second half, Pat, what did we see when we came out?
Right. So again, kind of hit the grounds running again with that press and just the energy to start off. We did see Miazga get in the action, with those line breaking passes that Brooks was having in the first half, Austin. So it was nice to see him get that line breaking pass, and I believe that was to McKinney and then out to Dest. We saw a lot of that nice combination going forward, and some good crossing opportunities. And also I think for the most part, it kind of waned towards that end of the second half. You did see, quickly, almost a miscommunication there between Steffen and Adams, kind of building out the back there, just something minor. And also, there's a few other instances where, some of the players you could just see were getting fatigued. And eventually Austin, they did make the substitutions. I think it's pretty smart and great to see again our boy Johnny Cardoso come
Yeah.
on. For Adams there, and then De La Fuente off for Yanez, who, like you just mentioned, Cardoso was in there. I think he picked up a yellow pretty early, but really physical. You could just see, even for a young guy, playing in Brazil for Internacional, he added a different kind of element to the game. Certainly a taller player too. He was winning some headers and aerial duels, but again, Yanez came in, looked also kind of dynamic, ready to make an impact there. Because we did see the final third finishing, like you said, it wasn't really there, but he did get that shot off. It was from a distance, but it had a little bit dip in it and caused the keeper to make a pretty decent save. So it was nice to see that. And then Austin, just some of the other subs to finish off here for the second half. They really needed a change. You could kind of see again, like I mentioned, the legs out there getting tired. Both teams kind of it almost felt more of like an actual friendly in the second part of the second half.
A little bit, yeah.
Right, exactly. So it was nice to see again, our boy Timo come on, and Gioacchini. I believe for Reina and Musa there, they both came off together, but nonetheless, Musa really impressed me, with his calmness and his passing ability in tight spaces, and just his strength and poise for that young age. So again, it was really nice to see them come on, as well as Cannon coming on and taking off their Leggett, and then even Owen Odasawe got in on the action there.
Yeah, which was kind of a surprise, right?
That was kind of a surprise, Austin. So yeah, I didn't actually expect that to see that coming, but I didn't even expect Leggett to start, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, again, that was kind of intriguing. They didn't get too much time to really make a tremendous impact there, but you kind of see what they were bringing to the table. Again, the same philosophy and driving the ball forward there. And I thought that just towards the second half there, both teams were pretty gassed, especially how the way the U.S. came out guns a-blazing.
Yeah, and the U.S. spent a lot of energy on the day and did a really good job, I thought, pressing Wales. Forced them into a lot of mistakes and really made them play off their game. We really just pressured them the entire game and it worked well, I thought. I was excited. I think that's something we should continue going forward, especially when you've got players like McKinney and Adams, who it seems like can run for days.
Right? Yeah, awesome. They were putting on the mileage there. You could just see that. It almost reminded me of some of those top European teams that were used to watching, and obviously they're all at top clubs now, which is great to see. But just the energy, the pressing, the intelligence. I think Adams had a few spots too where they were pressing, and he shifted over, and even Musa did it as well. And when Wales were trying to get out of the pressure, it was like they were one or two chess moves ahead that you could almost compare it to, and they were right where to intercept the ball cleanly there. So it was really nice to see some of that.
Yeah, and I guess while we're on midfield play, we should, I guess, go into some of the actual bullet point items that we liked from this game. And the first one that I was really impressed with was Weston Mckinney. I think he was voted man of the match by U.S. Soccer, and I thought by far in this game he was the best player. I also thought this was his best performance in a USMNT shirt, which is funny because he scored a hat trick in a game
right.
about a year ago. And this was, not to that level in terms of statistics, but just his skill, his silky touch, and
very well-rounded, Austin.
Yeah, he really showed that he can be a box-to-box midfielder in this game. He did it on all levels of the game, whether it was defending and tracking back. I think there was a video on Twitter I saw where he just came out of nowhere to make a sliding tackle on a Welsh player in the final third, their final third, our defensive third. And that was really cool. And then, just all the tricks he has with the ball, some great turns and like rollbacks when he's looking to open up and pass the ball, I thought were phenomenal. It's what we've seen, from him at times at Schalke and recently at Juventus. We've really seen him, especially in that first game for them, really kind of come into his own and be that true box-to-box midfielder who can, be comfortable on the ball, ping a good pass, whether it's, a long ball or, just some 1-2 play, things like that. Like, he's really come into his own and he's always been confident, but I feel like he's reached another level. Again, it was like Tyler Adams when he went to Leipzig. I just feel like he's just taken that next step as a player, which is great. At Schalke, it wasn't happening. So I thought that was good. Also with McKinney, I thought his partnership with Tyler Adams was great too. They've played together a good amount of times, and they're just two players that seem to have similar identities or ideologies of how they view the game. So I thought that was, I thought them together needs to be a big partnership for us. And I thought in this game, you could definitely see that, and just their communication on the field, their understanding of where each other are, and kind of the spaces they want to exploit together, I thought was really good. So yeah, that was one thing that really stood out to me.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Austin. Just a little bit as well on that. Like you mentioned, McKinney and Adams, just their growth and development since we last seen them, and just elevating to those bigger clubs, being day in day out at such cultures and the training facilities, as well as just Champions League game and playing for top league teams there. You could just see that translate so well, to the field here. Even if it's a small sample size with this first game, there's plenty to improve on, especially in the final third. But you could see just really dominate with possession. It all really starts from the back and then out of the midfield. So they bossed around the midfield. But I guess, Austin, to move over to things that I liked from the outside back perspective was I did like to see Serginho Dest in the right back, and I know he had a really solid game.
Yeah.
Just moving forward, Austin, he was really dangerous and just knew when to make the right runs. And even him and McKinney seemed to have a nice understanding, where McKinney had these beautiful, diagonal balls to him on multiple occasions. And that's when we were most dangerous, when we were kind of, building out in the midfield. Wales players would kind of press, and McKinney would able, have a nice turn and then play a nice diagonal or thread a ball through to Dest. And then, he would go on his little saucy or creativity spree there, Austin. So,
Yeah.
again, I thought he looked really dangerous moving forward. And then even, Anthony, where, he started off the game, with some errors there and a little bit slow, but just having somebody, even like Robinson, where, he's able to press high up the pitch, and those type of fullbacks, I think is just a great element that I love to see, especially that you see that all throughout the game now with the top clubs in Europe, that you're able to, again, with the goalkeeper, distribute out of the back and just send all of those players forward, because there's some points, Austin, where, even the US had, Adams stay back, Miazga and Brooks there, and then, everyone else was just up the pitch, those fullbacks. So, I thought Dest was fantastic.
And you liked him on the right too, right? You didn't, we think we can get some good use out of him and feel confident with him starting on the left. But do you think that tonight was kind of a confirmation that him on the right is better than him on the left, which was, I think, the last time we saw him, he played on the left.
Right. Yeah. It's difficult, and it's such a, again, small sample size, because it's not. I know this is more on the like side, but Anthony didn't have the strongest game, and again, it's only one game, but a lot of the play was out of Dest on the right. Everything went through that was positive was all over there, and he's just so good, at his strongest position. I feel like it'd be so difficult, but obviously Reggie Cannon is another skilled fullback, and he'd love to have both of them on the field. I think if Cannon was an actual left back there, he would be ahead of Robinson, by a little bit. But yeah, he just looked. I don't know, Austin. I thought Dest looked really good in his preferred position.
Yeah, and he looked good crossing the ball into the box too. I know none of them really paid off, and only some of them kind of connected into something that was, I guess, truly positive. But I just kind of, with you, Pat, I like how he was our outlet on the right, and I think that's a position that he plays. At least at Ajax, he played it consistently. It seems like at Barcelona, he may play left back a little bit more. But yeah, I think having him in his best position might be the best way going forward. So
right.
Yeah, really cool. And so another thing I liked before we move on is the amount of debutants we had. So we had 6 players who made their first cap. You had Gio Reyna, Conrad De La Fuente, Yunus Musa, Owen Atasawi, Johnny Cardoso, Nick Gioacchini, How are we pronouncing it?
Joachini. It's close. It's close. We're
Joachini.
still
I
getting
always
it.
screw
We're
it
still
up.
getting
I'm
it.
sorry. I'm sorry. Joachini, Nick Joachini. So, yes, 6 debutants. I was not expecting that personally. I thought we'd see a few in the starting lineup, maybe Musa, Reina, and like Joachini or someone like that up at striker. I did not think we'd see Leggett at striker. But all in all, six debutants, like that's a pretty big deal. And some players that, I think when you saw Owen Adesawi got on the pitch, it was kind of he wasn't necessarily up to the speed of play, in my opinion, right from the start. But I think it's important to give a lot of these younger players a taste of this action, especially when it's against a class team like Wales, and just show them that, like, all your hard work is paying off towards this. And looking at the players that debuted today, a lot of them are dual nationals. Musa is a dual national, Cardoso is a dual national, Adesawi is a dual national, Conrad's a dual national. It looks like they're all dual nationals.
Right.
Reina is too, potentially. So obviously he's not going to be, but yeah, I think that's really important too. So having 6 players come on today, I thought did a really, it was a really good thing from Greg Berhalter. And, I got to give him props for it, honestly.
No, yeah, I couldn't agree more, Austin. And again, I think it's just, like you said, just getting some of those guys together on the field, having some game time there and building that bond and connection. Just, even kind of affirms like, hey, get some action instead of, just bringing on for the camp and you're not seeing the field. I think that was a nice strategy on his end in terms of, Berhalter and building that relationship and saying, hey, this is what you could be a part of, instead of, obviously you can only, say so much, but when you're on the field and you can actually perform those actions and you see what they're talking about and the vision going forward, maybe that will excite some of the players.
Yeah. And one player I think of right off the bat was Yunus Musa. When he came off the pitch, you could see, from the stream, at least that I was watching, a big smile on his face. Like he did something big in his life and was happy about it. So I thought that was cool. You could also see in the pregame photo, a lot of our players were smiling and looking like they enjoyed themselves. So I think that's great. And yeah, like you said, Pat, just building for the future, giving them good memories. Because it sounds like, when Serginho made his decision, it was based off those good past experiences he had at the youth level in our program. So hopefully, some of the guys enjoyed what, the game today and what they experienced on the pitch. And hopefully against Panama, we can play a few more. I'm sure there's a few more on this roster that are looking to get on the field for that game and make their debut. Chris Richards, Sebastian Soto.
Right. Many more to go.
Yeah, so if they can get on the pitch, then I think this will be, a 10 out of 10 camp, in my opinion. But yeah, I guess moving on, I think you got one final thing that we really liked from this game.
Right, yeah, and just wanted to quickly touch on, Austin, just in general, overall, the formation. I know we kind of went through the lineup there, and just the tactics in general, because having those outside backs push forward, the midfield play that we just spoke on, and the combinations and interchanging, just so much energy and so much pressing. It was so exciting to see, because I'm just personally not used to seeing even Wales, obviously, like you said, it's not in England, but it's still a really solid team with some great young players and some veterans there. But just to see them almost kind of, it almost felt like a respect where, we weren't really getting pressed. We were playing out of the back, stepping the outside backs, midfielders, linking play, and then just bossing around the midfield and just being really physical and having some of that sauce and touch. You could see they respected the game right away and thought, wow, this is a completely revamped U.S. team. And like I mentioned, full press up the field. The goalkeeper almost made a few errors, and Conrad had a pretty good chance that skied. He got excited, but that was all caused from that high press that they were able to keep going for a very long time.
Yeah. I mean, you literally saw Weston Mckinney run, I don't know, it seemed like 10 miles.
Yeah.
Game. Like, he was all over the pitch. And the same with Tyler Adams. You saw him bomb up. I think it was early on in the game, right? First 5 minutes, I think, trying to give the goalkeeper a run.
Right. Yeah. He made a full, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Yeah, I think this is great. We have to take advantage of some of these strengths that we have as a team. We can play possession, things like that, but we really need to use the press efficiently. And I liked what we saw in this game. Obviously, it was probably a little more than we should have, but it was good to see our players excited. I think that kind of helped that pressing mentality on the day as well. So. I guess moving on to a few things we'd like to see improve, not to put a sour note on the day, but the first one is obviously the game finished 0-0, so good to get a clean sheet, but also not so good that we didn't score. And this is kind of the unfortunate theme of some of the USMNT games recently. We've really struggled to score, especially when Christian Pulisic's not on the pitch. So obviously, again, we didn't have Josh Sargent for this game, and he's our preferred striker, maybe Jossie Zardes, if this was a camp that really allowed for some of those MLS guys to come over. But I think we really got to be concerned about this going forward, and we really got to look to figure out how we can solve this problem. Obviously, Josie Altidore is a name that keeps coming up, and we'll see how fit he can be. It seems like every time he gets healthy, he gets injured again, kind of like Aaron Johansson, unfortunately. So obviously, that could maybe be the solution to this problem, but I think it's something we gotta kind of think about how we can get goals out of this team. And Greg Berhalter has to think about this, not me. But I think we got to think about getting our wingers in better situations in that final third, and kind of supporting them through the midfield too. We saw a lot of crosses in this game. A lot that were on the ground, which maybe if we gave if we had them in the air into the box, that might help our strikers and players like Weston Mckinney arriving late in the box to score a header or something like that, to score some more goals. But I'm just kind of concerned, and I think Josh Sargent will be good to help link play. But we've seen at Bremen he's more of that creative center forward, or that hold up striker at the moment, and he's not doing the scoring thing. So what are your thoughts, Pat?
Quickly add, I think one point, it was really interesting that you brought that up, because again, there's some great interchange and play between the midfield, but even when some of those crosses came in, and Des had some good movement and crosses, and excuse me, I think even eventually Anthony got forward too, but there's some great balls in, but nobody was there, at the 6-yard box. There wasn't that true number 9, that hungry, poacher, that striker that you need. Because there's a few opportunities there, where the ball was played in, and, the full Welsh back line was there, and maybe 1 or 2 players from the US were, 5 to 10, even farther yards outside. So, I just think there needs to be a better, poacher inside there.
Yeah, and I hope it's someone that we cover, to be honest with you, because I think Josh Sargent can do it. It's just at the moment that's kind of the thing lacking in his game. But we've seen it at the youth level. He was kind of the striker that led us in the U20 World Cup, and then the U17 World Cup, and was that poacher. He was that poacher.
Maybe Soto will get some game time off.
Yeah, that's where I was heading next. That's clearly what we've seen from him. That's his game. So maybe one of those guys. I hope we see Soto in this next game, and maybe he puts all our fears and doubts to rest, and can score a hat trick or something like at Telstar, or a brace or whatever. So that was one thing that concerned me. I think that's a concern that we've had for a little while now, and going forward, that just kind of remanifested itself tonight. But Pat, what kind of concerned you about this game?
Yeah, nothing too major, I think, Austin. It's more of a positional dilemma with Gio Reyna there. To be honest, obviously the expectations are high, and he's such a young player. I keep reiterating it, but it's a very small sample size. But honestly, wasn't his best game. I would say, some of the moments he was trying to get on the ball and just trying to find the game a little bit more. Again, when he did have some of the ball, he was able to hold off, great strength. I think there was one instance, I think that was in the second half, where he had a darting move across the entire box, the 18 box, and kind of set up some chances. But for the most part, I would say kind of neutralized out there. You could see him getting a little bit frustrated as well with off the ball foul. But again, I think it, in a play, and I know Austin, you can kind of, harp on a little bit more, with the Boone Americans, but I think at Dortmund, like you said, he's kind of used to playing that free flowing, that 10 role, inside and drifting around, and obviously linking with Holland and getting those great, Erling, getting those great assists there, in that combination. So again, I think it's just finding the right spot, and is he better tucked in centrally, or having some freedom there in the midfield, or I don't know. I don't know if that out wide position, and again, it's such a small sample size. But I don't know if that's the right spot. But I want to get your take.
Yeah, and we see him now at Dortmund pretty much exclusively in that number 10 position. There'll be times where he gets kind of pushed out to the right, but ever since the start of this season, it seems like that's where Lucien Favre sees him. So going into this game, I was like you. I was interested to see how this was going to work out with him more isolated than he has been recently, and it seems like it was a little frustrating to him. Like he didn't. It took some time, and I still don't think he even did it by the end of the game to kind of figure out how he's got to play differently in that position. So yeah, personally, I would like him kind of where Yunus Musa was. I understand why Yunus played there tonight, and I think it's interesting because Musa plays on the right wing for club. And I kind of like his qualities in that position a little bit more than the midfield. I know he played similar to Weston Mckinney tonight, and we thought Weston Mckinney was awesome with the things he was doing. So there's merit to that position too. But I just felt like if we switched Gio tonight and Yunus, I feel like there would have been a little bit more synergy between that those two players or that part of the team. That was the one area where I thought we were kind of lacking. And Serginho Dest honestly made up for so much getting upfield and allowed Gio to kind of tuck in a little bit, but it just didn't seem like it was working. And I think, the other thing I want to mention too, so Gio at the international level throughout all the different age groups has always been the guy for his team. He's always been kind of not to put it like this, I guess, but I'm going to, the ball hog for the team. And this is really the first time we've seen him on the international level not have to carry a team and kind of play within a team that's just as good, if not even better than him. So I thought,
right,
coming into this game, I thought that was going to be a little that was something I was going to watch and see, like, if that mentality changes. And I think, I don't think he came into the game with that in his mind, but I think kind of just from habit of playing for U.S. soccer, and especially with Christian Pulisic not here too, I think there's some pressure on his shoulders to kind of be the creator, the person who takes over for Pulisic when he's not on the field. And I think that kind of just played with him a little bit tonight. I'll be interested to see against Panama if he takes the same approach, or if it's more relaxed and kind of just going with the flow. And not getting so agitated. I felt like once he got agitated tonight, he kind of took himself out of the game a little bit. But I don't know, Pat. I think I would like to see him back in the midfield for the next game. But what do you think? I guess we'll have to wait and see what Greg does.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'll be really intrigued. I think it might be stylistic wise, the same, but there might be a lot of switching, changing. I'm sure, with the, you see a lot of the injuries sustained and the COVID issues and the calendar being jammed. Not a lot of recovery time. So I wonder if some clubs have, some kind of restrictions there, and we'll see some more change. But, back to your question there. Yeah, I would like to see, Gio at least, tinker, which is, I think the main thing too is, Greg has a great problem, Austin, whether it's some of the fullback changing, getting Can in there, or, like you said, back to Gio. Switching to different roles. I think we have such a plethora of talent, defensively in the midfield, especially, and out in the wings. Again, just circles back to that striker, but it would be really interesting to see, Gio kind of mix it up and, get into his preferred spot and see how he does. But again, he's a young player. He'll get a little frustrated, but it's only one game.
Yeah, very true. So how are we feeling going into Panama? Do we feel good? We feel tense?
I feel pretty good, Austin. I think that was, I feel pretty good. Yeah, I think they're going to have that same approach, and what they saw, I don't think is anything discouraging. I think they're going to be even more hungry to score and finish. And I think, not knocking Panama, but Wales is certainly a more talented team there. To be honest, when you look at the FIFA rankings, but I think they could really take it to Panama and produce a few goals there. So I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling too. I feel like that's going to be kind of a weight lifted off their shoulders. Like this game, everyone was real hyped up for. I feel like in retrospect, some of them will be like, "Dang, like I wish we did a little bit better," and kind of go into Panama and realize it's definitely a lower level of competition. So yeah, that's my thought process too. So I guess with that, Pat, we should sign off. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel down below.
And don't forget, Instagram, Twitter. Trying to provide some great content, especially that US account is killing it there, Austin, and sharing some great videos and articles. So we'll have all that content going for you guys.
That's true, and we also have a podcast. So this will hopefully be up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. And yeah, with that being said, we're planning on doing another one of these for Panama if it goes well, which it did today. So that's why you're seeing us. And yeah, we'll hope to have that out. We'll hope to have this one out by Friday and that one out by Tuesday. So definitely keep your eye.
Absolutely, Austin. I think after all that, and hopefully we saw some of the bright future moving forward, some glimpses there, and all kind of build together. I think for one thing, and I think you know what that is.
That's right. We got to finish with it. That's right. One day we will win the World Cup.